Hi everyone, this is Cesar with Gibson, and I'm coming at you from the Gibson Vault in Nashville. And please give a warm welcome to my friend, Kirk Hammett, lead guitar from Metallica. What's up, Kirk?
You know, everything is great. I can't really complain, man. I'm sitting here in Honolulu right now, and the sun is shining, Greeny's right there, and I'm talking to you, Cesar. So what can I say?
Hey, well, before I ask you any questions, then I have to ask, how is Greeny doing?
Greeny's doing good. You know, it's still pretty early in the morning. I haven't played her yet, but I'll probably play her after our conversation here. And you know, she likes Hawaii. She likes being indoors in the nice air conditioning. And if I bring her outdoors, I have to be a little careful because, you know, the temperature swing, you know, can affect a guitar's wood. And so.
Well, that's great. But make sure that when Greeny goes out, you put it in that Carlton case we sent you to keep her safe.
Yeah, that Carlton case is great, you know, because Greeny has had a lot of accidents in her day. I mean, her neck has been broken not once, but twice. And the second time it was broken, it was because Gary Moore had put the guitar in the trunk of his sports car.
Yeah.
And then while the sports car was sitting, it got rammed by a moving car, and you know, Greeny was in like in bad shape after that. And she was taken to one of the best luthiers in London and put back together. So yes, having a case that's practically bomb-proof is great for Greeny, because you know, when it comes to instruments that are meaningful to me,
oh, yeah.
I want to make sure that they have the ultimate protection.
Oh yeah. Well, getting straight to it, before I ask you questions about what's going on with you, is we're finally, after a long time of us getting to know each other, talking, nerding out about guitars and sharing guitar ideas, etc., we can let everybody know that we at Gibson and you, Kirk, are finally going to be working together again.
Yes, it's official. I have become an official Gibson endorsee, and it's been a long time coming, but you know, I'm really, really happy about it. And you know, when I think about it, I've been playing Gibson really since, like, you know, the late 70s. Yeah. When I bought my very first Black Flying V in 1979. You know, I could barely play it, and it felt funny putting it on, you know, because the V wings. But I knew that it was the guitar for me, and within like 3 or 4 days, I was just inseparable from that guitar, and I still have it to this day. And you know, Gibson guitars have been with me for pretty much, you know, 95% of my musical life.
Yeah.
And you know, I've revered so many Gibson players in my life too. And you know, the Gibson sound has been so inspiring to me, and at times I didn't even know it. You know, that I remember when I first started playing guitar, I was just blown away by the sound of Jeff Beck's guitar sound.
Yeah.
On "Let Me Love You, Baby," you know, off Truth.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much the opening lick. I was just like, how did he get that sound? And I remember it was one of the very first guitar licks I learned. Very simple lick, you know, G position, just a blues lick, but I could never get it to sound the way that sounded, with that tone, that attack, that distortion. And it wasn't until decades later that it was because he was using a certain guitar. It was a Les Paul Standard. And then it all made sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, from you know, talking about that Flying V, I mean, for me personally, growing up, learning to play your songs, and then when I was finally able, when you and I got together and I held that 79 Black Flying V, like your number one, that was a real inspiring and surreal moment for me. And I want to tell you, I want to thank you for trusting us and working with us, because this has been a journey now that especially you and I have been on, talking and getting to know each other. And to me, it's the ultimate that you came to that place where you felt that you could trust in our team and now start working together. That was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, the time is right for me, for Metallica, and for Gibson, and you. I mean, in retrospect, when I look back at it, I believe that I was just always kind of heading down this path, with my love for like Gibson Flying V's, Gibson Les Pauls, of my love of vintage Gibsons. And then, you know, I think the culmination was when I got Greeny in 2012 or 2013 or whatever it was. And when I got that guitar, I pretty much, it became my main guitar. And, you know, much more than just a main guitar, just like an instrument that has so much inspiration, so much history in it.
Oh yeah.
And so it means a lot to me on a lot of different levels, and it's still very inspiring to me. And it's crazy because I'm still discovering little things about it, little tones and little tricks and little, you know, aspects and idiosyncrasies about Greeny that I never really discovered before. But I mean, having to like really just think about this, you know, I've been heading in this direction, and I'm finally here, and it feels good to be here. And I have the utmost respect and faith in Gibson Instruments too. So the feeling is really mutual, really mutual. Thank you for trusting me.
No, thank you so much. That to me is the ultimate, is when we get an icon like you, such an influential artist, to that also has had Gibson be a large share, like you just explained, of your sound and of your career, to finally come together. And then clearly we're not going to talk about all of it today. We're going to leave a little bit of suspense there, and we're going to announce things later, but a very big collection that we're going to do with you. It's not just about one guitar, it's about the Kirk Hammett collection.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, for me, I like ideas, and Gibson is a company filled with ideas. And so, you know, when I get ideas and I start throwing them off of people, bouncing them off of people, it creates more ideas. And then all of a sudden we're rolling with a lot of momentum. And, you know, I really feel that with you and with Matt and you know, everyone I've spoken to at Gibson. And this line of guitars that we're coming out with, I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be historical. I think a lot of guitar collectors out there, guitar players, guitar fans in general, are really going to enjoy what we're going to have to offer for them. And, you know, it's great because it's a little bit of something old, a little bit of something new, a little bit of something different, you know, a little bit of something you've never seen before. And so, you know, I think we're covering a lot of great ground, and I'm super excited and just expecting great things. And as a result of that, great music.
I'm super excited about the one that you mentioned without mentioning it, which is going to be the new one that no one has ever seen before. And I'll leave it at that.
Yes, absolutely. Mm. And yeah, I mean, I have to say, you know, when we really think about it, you know, there's the Gibson guitars have been on every single Metallica album. And primarily on the first 3 albums, it was all Gibson powered, you know, because all I had was my Flying V.
Yeah.
You know, and then I had a Strat copy and I had a Jackson. And, you know, the Jackson didn't really come to me till like, you know, Master of Puppets.
Right.
And so, you know, that Gibson Flying V was a real workhorse in the studio for like the first 4 or 5 albums. And then after that, I started playing vintage Gibsons, you know,
right.
From load on, I started playing standards almost all the time.
Yeah.
And, you know,
the collector. I mean, it's not a secret. I mean, clearly you have maybe the most iconic 59 is in your custody now, which is epic. But beyond Greeny, you're a very big vintage guitar and particularly Gibson vintage guitar collector.
Yes. I love Flying V's. I Yeah, I try. I think I have almost every 70s flying V from 79 to 81.
Right.
I really like that particular run of flying Vs. You know, there are a lot of cool colors, and I like the design. I like the weight. I like the sound. I have one of the very first flying Vs from 1957, a prototype,
Yep.
which is
I
I
remember
love.
when we did the social post and you crushed Adam and I when you posted.
Yes, yes, yeah. I just knew that those guys just like there was no way they couldn't even compete with what I had. It's just like no
That's
contest.
the ultimate.
Sorry, it's just how it goes.
I have an original 58 here behind me, but like when you posted that 57, I was like told Adam, well, I quit.
Yeah, yeah. I've had that guitar for about 10 or 12 years, and I love it to death, and I play it a lot. And you know, it's weird because I play my vintage instruments quite a bit, and you know, I have guitar collector friends who are kind of nervous about how much I play my vintage guitars, but I don't really treat any of my guitars that precious, believe it or not. You know, I like players. You know, I like to play my guitars. I don't like to just look at them. I like to play them, plug them in, and make noise with them. And so,
Yeah.
I make sure and play all my vintage stuff. But you know, I love flying V's. You know, I also love Les Paul standards. I have a really great ES-335 from 1959 that's
Yep.
black, and that thing is like probably my second best sounding guitar.
Yeah, that's amazing. You and I talk a lot about that particular guitar that you really love. That's an amazing guitar.
Yeah, it has as much force and as much tone and as much power as Greeny, but different, you know, because just because of the fact that it's a hollow body. It's great but different, and
Yeah.
it's a great foil to Greeny when I'm recording, because it's just as good as Greeny, but you know, it has its own personality. And when I put those two guitar tracks up and together, it's an amazing sound, and it's PAF heaven.
Oh yeah.
It's that non-active pickup sound that I just love so much nowadays, and that's a real turn for me, because I was almost exclusively using non-active pickups until about 4 or 5 years ago. Actually, when I got Greeny, and now my whole tonal attitude is switched towards non-active pickups again, and also to see how I can get active pickups, which I still think are very useful.
Yeah.
How I can get active pickups to sound more like PAFs. And so, but yeah, you know, I love Les Paul Juniors, and I love Les Paul Deluxes as well. I love P90 pickups.
Yeah.
I have a 56 Les Paul Custom with P90 pickups, and there's so much compression in those pickups. I don't know if it was because they're mid-50s, they're made in the mid-50s or what, but in that particular guitar, when I hit a note, it's just like it explodes out of the pickups.
That's amazing. How does that double cut junior custom shop Murphy Lab we sent you compare with the ones made in the 50s?
Oh, it's there. I mean, I had to look at that pickup and wonder if it's new old stock, because it sounded so much like, you know, my other junior that I love to death, my blonde one. And there's something about those guitars, you know. Leslie West once categorized it as, you know, a plank with a pickup in it, or, you know, a piece of wood with a telephone or something, you know. And yeah, that's what it is. But there's something really expressive about those guitars, man. I don't know if it's just because of what they are, you know, just because of the simplicity of it. or maybe it's because when you put it on, you don't have to worry about all sorts of like knobs and switches or whatever. Maybe it's just the fact that, you just have one pickup and the rest of the body is wood. I don't know what it is, but I love those guitars. And for me, they're great to write riffs on,
Yeah.
They riffs just fall out of those guitars for me.
Well, maybe pivoting a little bit, I saw you guys announced obviously a lot of live dates. So there's
Yes.
big touring coming up. What can you tell us about what's going on with Metallica?
Well, because of just the unusual situation of the last couple of years, we were able to continue to communicate and be a band, and we're able to get together on a somewhat regular basis, create a bubble that we could work in, get tested regularly every 2 or 3 days. And go in and function as a band. And, in the last year or so, we've been doing that pretty consistently. And it's difficult and it's demanding, to work on, to have to work under those situations, because when you're in a bubble, you can't really see anyone else,
right?
And when we're in the band bubble, it's just the band and 12 people allowed in the building at any given time. And so it was, a little weird and a little difficult, but we were able to really just put, all the events and all the feelings and emotions and experiences of the last year and a half into our music. And, we're jamming, we're coming up with stuff, and we're really enjoying each other's company. And, at this point in time, it's looking like it's going to be more possible to play live shows. So we're gearing to that. And we're all very, very excited because, we're craving that. We have a real hunger for that right now. And we're well aware of the fact that, we're probably not the only ones in the world really, really craving something like that too. I know that I miss seeing bands live and I miss playing live. And that's probably the sentiment of a lot of music lovers out there as well. And
for sure. And so, carrying on that topic, what do you do to get ready? I mean, live shows coming up. You guys been jamming, you've been playing together, you've been, being a band in those circumstances with the security protocols, but that's different from the physical part of being on stage, which is pretty demanding. So how do you get ready for live and on stage?
Personally, the way I get ready for touring is, I have to do a lot of physical stuff, because I feel like when I go up on stage, I have to put on a physical show as well as a musical show. Kind of it's all an enhancement of just the overall bigger show.
Yeah.
And we all are aware that, we have to get ready physically somewhat, because we play long shows.
Yeah.
We play over 2 hours. Our music is very physical to begin with as well. And we just need to be on top of everything and can't be on stage going, what's the next part? I can't remember. I mean, we need to be able to it just flows. Muscle memory, you don't even think about it, just flows. Your body knows it, your mind knows it, your heart knows it, your soul knows it. And that's the ideal situation to be going into a tour. So
what do you do for physical conditioning?
Well, I surf, and I try to get a lot of cardio in as well. In that I run, I bike, I swim, and when it gets time to when we get closer to our rehearsal week, I'll just play acoustic guitar exclusively, playing everything on an acoustic guitar, Metallica songs, fast stuff, exercises, scales, arpeggios, play a bunch of jazz stuff, jazz chords. I play like weird grips that my hand is not used to playing. It strengthens my fingers in weird ways. So I'll find a jazz song, jazz progression I'm not used to playing, and I'll just hammer on that. And you know, the more complicated, the better, because it's just like I said, puts my hands in grips that I'm not used to. And you know, I always feel that really benefits me at the beginning of a tour. And yeah, I'll just sit there and just like riff on my acoustic guitar, because I know that if I play my acoustic guitar for about, you know, that week, if when we get to rehearsals and pick up Greeny, I'm just like
right
all over the place. My hand is nice and conditioned.
Well, thank you very much, Kirk. Really very generous with your time. I'm very grateful that you spent this time with us, and I can tell you that from myself, JC, Matt, who you've been working with, and from all of us at Gibson, we are truly thankful that you've trusted us to come together and work together. And I look forward to, in the very near future, start unveiling some of the things that are going to become part of the Kirk Hammett collection.
Yeah, I feel really, really, really excited about it. Great things are going to happen. And, you know, for me, a lot of this, and a lot of, like, you know, becoming a guitar endorsee and like putting stuff out there, putting Kirk Hammett equipment out there, you know, putting stuff out there to make it available for other people to use. It all comes back to one thing for me. It's the power of inspiration. And, you know, for me, when I first started playing guitar, I couldn't play, but I was inspired.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what kept me playing. You know, there was a time I sounded like shit, but I was inspired.
I'm not sure that ever happened, but.
And, you know, for me, I'm hoping that this will inspire people to just play guitar and just discover new things, discover new music, make the music of the future. You know, that's what's important for me, is that hopefully this will inspire people to make great music in the future. And really, that's all I can ask for, you know, because that's all I want, is to hear great music.
Absolutely.
And you know,
inspire the next year. You've inspired so many generations, but hopefully with this collection, there will be even more generations of players that are created with the things that we're going to be doing together.
Yeah. And you know, for me, it's a really, really big motivation just in playing music, is that I know that the music can help people, and has helped people, has helped me, and will continue to help people. And music is an inspiring force that drives people to do great things. And, you know, I hold that true to my heart every single day. And it's what I hold on to. It's why I'm doing all this, really, you know, to help people, help me grow, and just to express myself and inspire people to express themselves too.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the world will be so much more beautiful with more of that.
Absolutely. So, Kirk, thank you very much, man.
Cheers, man. Cheers. And, you know.
Oh yeah, there you are.
Thanks you too. And, you know, this guitar is finally back home, if you can call it that. You know, it's back. You know, me coming to Gibson. You know, this is just like it's like a homecoming for me and Greeny here.
Oh yeah, too. Totally epic.
Greeny looks really crazy on Zoom. You can't see any of the stripes. Well, it kind of can.
Yeah. Well, thank you, bro. It was great to have you for such a long period of time on this interview, and it's going to be a pretty exciting moment when we start actually releasing some of the information of the things we're doing.
Yes, absolutely.